All right, what up? So in this video, we're going to talk about how a high ticket sales call should be run, how a sales call in the online business space should be run. So if you are just getting started in sales or you're coming from any other sales industry, you're going to want to know how a sales call in this space should be run. Now, I'm not going to go over like a specific script because you can get those from any business. You can get those in my program. You can get those online. That's boring. What we're going to talk about is the way you as a closer should be running these calls, because there's a specific approach to these sales calls that you should be doing. And if you're coming from a different sales industry, you're going to see that it's much different than maybe what you're used to. So we're going to go over all of that start to finish. So let's go. In remote closing, in high ticket sales, first off, these tend to be one call closes. So one sales call to determine whether or not someone's a good fit and whether or not you're going to sell them or not. So you don't need multiple sales calls to decide if someone's going to buy or not. These are usually one call sales calls, maybe sometimes two, but usually it's one call. And that may surprise you if you're coming from like tech sales like I was, where the sales can take months and months and you talk to someone like 7, 8, even like 10 fucking times before they buy. So when I got into this and I was like, this is one call, I was like, sick. This is fucking insane. This is awesome. And also, high ticket sales calls are more about, I hate this word, but discovery, okay? High ticket sales calls are more about discovery and only selling to the right people than it is about like forcefully selling someone something or trying to get people to buy things, like convince them to buy stuff. It's not about that. So I will go into all of that as well. But there is an adjustment in a way that you need to run a sales call when it's just a one call sales call. So that's what we're going to talk about. And I also may remake this video later and do a Google Doc presentation for you guys so you have a visual, but I will leave this video up anyway, just because I'm going to give you a ton of good info in this vid. So first thing, once you get on the call, we're just going to go from the start of the call to the end of the call. First thing, when the call starts, you get on Zoom, the person gets on. The first thing you want to do is take control, okay? So you're going to bullshit with them for like 1 minute. You don't want to get into like pleasantries for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, what are you doing? Just get straight into it. Like, talk to them for like 1 minute about bullshit and then get started and say, hey, this is how this call is going to go. And then you're going to explain the agenda of the call. So for example, the way this call is going to go, so I'm going to ask you some questions about why you scheduled a call, what your current situation is in relation to your product or service, and then I will explain to you how this product or service works, and if I think it's right for you and where you're at, then I can answer any questions you have at the end of the call. And at the end of the call, we can move forward or not. So include that there is a decision coming at the end of the call. Like, that's very important. So make sure that like what I just said is not word for word. I'm just giving you more of a vibe because I think it's people learn better that way than when you give them exact things to say. So I'm kind of just giving you the vibe of what it needs to be like, because that's how I learned better, is when people taught me that way. So I'm never going to give you like specific things to say because that makes you a robot and a dork and it hinders your development as a salesperson. So you need to see someone doing it or hear someone like give you the vibe of how it should be said and then put your own spin on it so it's natural. So basically, just to go over that again, you want to take control and set an agenda for the call and let them know that there is a decision coming at the end of this call. So you want to explain to them that we are going to be talking about them. Like, this call is about them and seeing if they are a good fit for this product or service or not. And that there will be a decision coming at the end of this call. And when they say cool, like, all right, that's cool, then you just get started. So it's important to let them know that there's already an agenda for the call and like you will be asking them questions, just to reiterate that. Now, next, when you get started, a lot of businesses are going to want you to qualify them up front, either financially or qualify them some other way. So an example of that could be they would have you like at the start of the call, ask them like, hey, what do you have to invest right now? Are you aware that this call is for a program that costs 4 figures? Things like that. Now, I don't like doing this personally on the call for many reasons. You want to qualify and screen the shit out of people on the call application. before the call. Like all of these questions should be on the call application that they have to fill out before they even get on a call. Because it's a waste of time to do this on a call, and you're going to end up talking to people who are not qualified. So you want to qualify on the call application and not on the call if you can. But some business owners are going to make you do that, so it's just going to depend. Now, once you've gotten through that, you've set in the agenda, you've taken control, you've either qualified them or not. Now we're just going to get into the meat of what the call is going to be. Like most of the call is going to be what I'm about to talk about. The bulk of the call is going to be this. I am going to get them to explain to me in detail what their current situation is, like what their goal is, / why they scheduled a call, and what is currently stopping them from achieving that goal, okay? And then also, why haven't they done it already? Like what are the problems that are in their way from achieving that goal? So it's basically 4 things. 1, their current situation, and I want a detailed explanation of that. 2, what their goal is, like why they scheduled a call. And then 3, what is stopping them from achieving that goal. And 4, like what are the problems that are in their way, basically. So 3 and 4 are kind of the same thing, but it's an important distinction. So knowing those things, I will continue to ask them open-ended questions until I get all of the information that I want. So I want them doing most of the talking for the next 15 to 35 minutes. That's a rough time frame. So most of the call, you were asking them questions about those things that I just mentioned. And those things are very important to get. And I will ask them questions until I get all the information that I need. Until I feel like I have enough information, I will keep asking them questions and keep making them talk. Just remember that you are running the call, like not them. Like you're the salesperson, like you're in charge here, basically. Now, quick disclaimer. I know that I can be very aggressive and sounding on these videos, but that's typically, like I'm not sounding like this on a call. Like I'm not like hammering them, like it's not super serious. The vibe I have right now is not the vibe I have on a sales call. So just to be very clear about that, like, yes, you are in control on the call and you are running the call, but you just want to be a normal person. Like you want to have like a relaxed vibe. Like there's nothing forceful about this. You are just trying to get to know them. So do not confuse my vibe right now in these videos, where half of this is for like entertainment purposes, with the vibe that I would have on a sales call. 2 very different things. So if you remember nothing from this video, just remember that. Like an aggressive type vibe is not what you want to have on a high ticket sales call. Now, just to reiterate, I'll ask them questions until I get all the information I need related to those things that I mentioned earlier. And there's really not much else to say about that, because every call that you take is going to be specific to the person and to the product or service that you're selling. So there's many specifics that I cannot necessarily get into without knowing those things, but I want detailed information on what their current situation is. Very important. I want to know what their goal is and why they scheduled a call and what is stopping them from achieving that goal. Why haven't they done it already? What are the problems in their way? And then once I have all that information, then I will move on. And just remember that it's okay to ask them a lot of questions. Like that is totally fine. Like some people, this makes them uncomfortable, but you will get used to it. You want them talking because the more that they talk, the more information they're going to give you and the better equipped you're going to be to close a sale. That's just how it works. Now, the next part is the most important part. You want to create a gap. So you want to create a wide gap between their current situation and where they want to be, okay? So you want to create a gap between these 2 things, and I'm going to explain how to do this in a second. And then you want to position your product or service as the thing that is going to close that gap for them. So they're in this situation, they want to be way over here. Your product or service is the solution that's going to get them where they want to go, right? That should make perfect sense. Your product or service is the answer or the solution to their problems, to the problems that they are having. This is what will take them from where they are now to where they want to be. So you need to create that gap and then position your product as the answer. And an extremely important part of this is first getting them to describe their current situation and why it sucks. Like, why does this suck so much? You need to get them to tell you that. You want them, because you want them to experience that pain on the call. Like you want them to be rehashing that in their mind and talking about how much this sucks, like how much painful their situation is on the call. And you want them to be thinking about how much this sucks right now. That's very important, because doing that is going to create urgency, okay? And then you can describe in that moment like how your product or service is going to resolve that pain and take them to that situation that they want to be in. This is sales. Like, this is how you do it, okay? So you need to be able to learn how to do that. And I'll give you a random example to make it clear. Let's say a business owner is making shit money every month. He's not making any money. He's tired of working like 18-hour days and making no money. So he's like fed up with this. But the reason he is making no money is because he has no traffic. He cannot get any leads. So your solution is to run ads for him, like Facebook ads for him, and flood his business with a ton of leads, which is now going to make him hundreds of thousands of dollars a month that he's been dreaming about, okay? So what you want to do is get him to describe, hey, I'm making no money at all. I'm doing all this work. I'm miserable. Like, this is my situation. It sucks. And then the way you would position it is you would be like, man, that really sucks. That sounds fucking terrible. But that's an easy fix. Good news. No problem. You just need more traffic. That's all you need. We can run the ads for you and basically just turn on the lead faucet for you, and you don't have to do anything. And you'll just be making a ton of money. Like, we will take care of everything and we will solve that problem. And now you'll be making a ton of money. We will handle that and your problems are resolved. Now you're stacking tons of money and you're not miserable anymore. So that's kind of a comical explanation, but I think you get the idea. Like, that's how it's done. That is how you position your product or service as the solution to close the gap between where they are and where they want to be. You want them to experience that pain, and that, like, on the call, you want them to be experiencing the pain that they're in, and then seeing that your product or service will easily fix this. No problem. And then just give them their dream scenario. That's how you do it. Experiencing pain and then seeing that right here in front of them is a solution that will give them everything they want is how you sell something. Like, there has to be pain. If there's no pain, no one's giving you money. Now, important to note, when you get them to tell you what their goal is, because that's the first thing you want to get, right? Is, let's say they say, oh, I want to make $50,000 a month. That's my goal. That is not a good enough goal. Like, I'm not stopping there, but most sales reps are just going to stop there. You want to ask why. Why do you want to make $50K a month? And you want to continue to ask why until you get to the real fucking reason. Like, what is the real reason you want to make $50K a month? And in this situation, for example, his real reason he wants to make $50K a month is so that he can spend more time with his family and pay off their massive debt and enjoy their life. That's his fucking reason. Like, that's why he wants to make $50K a month. That reason is 1,000 times more motivating for him to buy a solution than just, oh, I want to make $50K a month. So you want to ask why, until you get to the real reason that they want their goal. You need to learn how to dig and just be okay with that. And again, once you get to that root reason, that's going to be your leverage at the end of the call when it comes time for them to make a decision. You want to remind him, hey, if you buy this, it's going to solve your issues and you can get out of debt and spend more time with your family, right? Like, that's your leverage. You want to remind him that you're going to solve his problems. Now, again, that's a way more powerful a motivator than, oh, hey, remember, this is going to help you make $50K a month, right? It's night and day. So you want to ask why. What is the real reason? What is the root reason you want this goal? And also you want to ask, what have you tried in the past to solve this problem and why didn't it work? So it's important to get that information too, because that will also help you when it comes time to close. Like, did he work with other agencies? Maybe he did work with other Facebook ad agencies and it didn't work out. You would want to know that, because then you could speak to that and we'll be like, hey, we don't do stuff like them, because he's going to be thinking about that stuff like, oh, well, I worked with other agencies and they sucked. How is yours different, right? So you want to ask, like, what have you tried in the past to solve this problem and why didn't it work? Now, when you get through the meat of the call and you've gone through all that stuff that I talked about, and now you have all the information that you need, now I will ask them a time-related question, which is, how serious are you about solving this right now? Like, are you serious about solving this now? How ready are you to, like, do this or move forward right now? So in the example of the business owner, I want to know if he's ready to go and he's like ready to turn on ads today, or if he's like, well, I want to do it in a month. Like, I want to know what his time frame is. And if he says it's in a month, then he's not a good fit. I will ask him why and get him to clarify why he wants to wait a month. But if it's a legitimate reason, like I'm just not ready today, then I'm not going to try to sell him. I'm not trying to make a sale. I will say, well, then you should come back when you're ready, or we'll follow up later, or whatever. If they are serious about solving this now, then you move on to the next thing, which is going to be financial qualification before the pitch and before you give the price. Now, first, in the pitch, you want to sell to them how this product or service is going to solve their pains and problems, not the features of the product. So I already kind of went over how you want to like position this as a solution to their pain, but we're going to go into more detail about that now. You want to sell this product or service as a solution to their pains and problems. You do not want to sell the features of your product or like how amazing it is, okay? Very important difference. Features and benefits of a product or service is boring. You want to sell, like no one cares about that. You want to sell to them, sell to their pain, okay? So, no one cares that you have the best product on the market. No one cares how many cool features it has. They care what it's going to do for them and how it's going to solve the huge issues that they have that led them to getting on this call, okay? That's what they care about. And a way that you do this is instead of saying, hey, we're going to run all your ads for you. We have like the best ad tracking data. We have a team of experienced like media buyers who can do this in their sleep. That's not what you want to do. What you want to say is we have a team of people, of experienced media buyers who are going to run all of your ads for you so that you can just go make the money. You can go pay off the debt, spend the time with your family, and you don't have to worry about a damn thing. We're going to take care of all that. You see the difference in the two? You're selling to their pain. Huge difference. So, like I said, I kind of already went over that, but sell to their pain, not how great your product is. Like this is basic stuff that experienced salespeople do that new salespeople do not. And when you do pitch, it should be short and sweet, like get to the point and then get to the price. Don't go into this like 20-minute long-winded pitch like you're losing them. This is wrong, okay? So your pitch should be short and sweet and to the point. Like get the most important things out and that should be it. Clear and concise. Now, when it comes to the price and financially qualifying something, many businesses will want you to say something, well, like this, like, well, I think you're a good fit. This is a 4-figure investment. Is that something you're able to do at this time? Like they will want you to say something like that. I don't like that. I personally think that this question again should be asked on the call application. Why business owners do not do this is still a magical fucking mystery to me that I may never get the answer to. But some will want you to wait until the end of the call and not do it on the call application. I don't know why. I personally, and from my experience, this works better. What I like to do is just give the price, okay? Like stop beating around the bush. Like I say, okay, I think you're a good fit. It's a $7K one-time investment. And then I say nothing else. I just let them reply. I think you're a good fit. It's $7K. It's a one-time investment. It's $7K. Something like that. I don't fumble over my words like a nervous dweeb. I'm not like embarrassingly giving them the price like, well, it's $7K. Is that too much? What do you think about that? No, this is wrong. Okay, like you should not be ashamed to give them the price, even if it's $200,000. Okay, you just say it's $7K, one-time investment, and you let them respond. Now, many times they will say nothing, and I will just say nothing while I just let them think about it. Okay, like you need to get comfortable with a little bit of silence while you let them think. Now, to be clear, some of you may have seen from high ticket sales social media content that this is like some kind of strategy or something where reps will give the price and then they don't speak at all to just like be completely silent, even if it takes like 5 minutes of awkward silence, like let them speak first. That is so dumb. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just being silent because I've given them the information they need to make a decision and now I'm just letting them think. I'm giving them a chance to process that, and then if they have a question, I will let them ask it. This is a huge difference. This is not a tactic. Tactics are for dorks. I give them the price, and it's either right for them or it's not. That's how I look at it. It does not matter to me if it's not right for them because there will always be another person I can sell to, okay? That's how it works. So when they respond, it will either be a question, like they will have a question about it or something, or it will be, okay, cool, let's move forward. or they will give me an objection. It will usually be one of those three things. If it's an objection, I did a whole video on that a couple days ago, so no objection handles are going to be done in this video because that's an extensive topic, and I will link the video below. The title has like the word secret in all caps in it or something, so I will link the video below and I will label it objections. But at this point, they will either buy or not, okay? If they are a good fit, I will handle objections if they have any. If they are not a good fit, I will just move on. Or if they are just like serious, like, oh, that's way too much, I wasn't expecting that, or oh, I'm definitely not doing that today, then I won't even mess with it and I will just move on. Like, you have to read each person, okay? So there's no specific example I can tell you when you should handle objections and when you shouldn't. Just learn how to read a person. Like, do you know how to talk to people? Okay, then you can figure out in the situation whether or not you should try to handle their objections, or if they're totally serious and it's like, it's just, let's let them move on. You will know that in the moment. And like I said, when I handle objections and when I let them go immediately will just depend on the person, and you will get a feel for that when you start doing this. Now, once this is done, if they're ready to go, you just need to process the sale. You take their credit card info, you give them their onboarding info, which will be different for whatever business you're working for, and you're done. Call is over. That is a basic way of how a high ticket sales call should be run. And important things to remember are the things I talked about at the beginning of the video, what you want to get in the meat of the call. And you want to get as much information, detailed information about their situation as you can. You are running the call. You are asking the questions. This call is about them and you getting to know them and seeing if they're a good fit for this product or not. That is what this call is about. And then if you figure out they are a good fit, then you pitch it to them. Okay? If they're not a good fit, you move on. If they are a good fit, but they're still not sure about it, you can handle objections or you cannot, right? This is a very quick summary of how a high ticket sales call should work. What a high ticket sales call is not is a forceful, like aggressive thing where you're trying to like persuade someone to buy something they don't need, or you're trying to just mass sell people. That's not what we're doing here, okay? The person that if you are going to sell something to someone, it needs to be right for them. It needs to genuinely be solving their problems. Otherwise, you should not be selling it to them, because one, that is wrong, and two, you're just creating problems for the business later. So that's not what we're doing. This, and again, I hate this word, but high ticket sales is about discovery, like finding out information about this person and if your product or service is good for them, can help them or not. That's what it is. Now, to end this video, I'm going to tell you a problem that I have with the way the high ticket sales call process is run. Now, everything I just went over is correct. Like, that is how you should run a high ticket online business sales call. And so I'm not saying that this way doesn't work or that you shouldn't do it. It does work and you should be doing this in most cases. But there is some nuance to this, okay? And the problem that I see from a lot of sales reps in the high ticket sales space is that they cannot make an adjustment to their sales process based on the person that they are talking to. Now, what do I mean by this? In sales, if you've done sales, you already know this, but if you're going to get into sales, you will find this out. You're going to talk to all different kinds of people on sales calls, and all of these people are going to be at different places in their lives and different places in their understanding of your product or service, okay? And it's the sales rep's job to read the room, so to speak. So who am I talking to? Do they have an understanding already of this product or service, or do they have no idea what's going on? Are they a good fit? Are they not a good fit? Is it a good time for them or not? All of these things, like, you need to adjust your approach on a sales call based on the person that you're speaking to. Now, not a lot, but a little. And I'll give you an example, and the main thing that pisses me off with high ticket sales reps. Let's say that we'll just continue to use the marketing service example. Let's say you're selling a marketing service, Facebook ads, to a business owner. He wants you to run the Facebook ads for him. He gets on the call and he already has a full understanding of like how all this works. He knows that he wants it. He's paid other agencies before to run his ads, but it didn't work out. And now he just wants to pay your agency, which is a well-known, better agency. He wants to pay you to take over the marketing and run his ads. He's given you all of this information on the call application. So the sales rep has already seen all this information before he gets on the call. So he knows all this stuff about the guy. But still, when the sales rep gets on the call, he will still go through like an entire list of questions trying to determine if the product is right for the business owner or not. Like asking him like questions like, so how would this, change your situation? Or what's going to happen like to you if you don't purchase this service? Like questions like that you would ask someone who you have no idea if this product or service is right for them. And when they do this, I'm like, do you have fucking brain damage? Like what are you doing? Like the business owner explained in detail he was ready to buy, like basically in the call application. He told you that he's right for this. He explained everything to you. There's no need for you to do a full discovery on this person. It's a complete waste of time. And most importantly, the business owner is going to think you're a complete idiot and he may not buy at all. That is the point. Like he's going to be like, what are you doing? Like, are you an idiot? I already told you all this information. Like it shows that you have a lack of awareness, which is not good. But this is what happens with a lot of sales reps. They are just taught this sales process. This is the way a high ticket sales call is run. And then they never ever deviate from it and they just behave like a robot. And many times I will say it's not even their fault. The business owner they sell for probably has told them to never deviate really from the script or the process and just to go through it with every single person. But sales is about people. Like the more people like you on a call, the more likely they are to buy from you. Just straight up, like that's reality. No matter what you're selling, it doesn't matter. If they like you, they're more likely to buy. Sales is about people and it always will be. And when you get on a call, you just need to talk to them like a normal person. When sales reps get on call, they put on their salesperson hat. Like they turn into a different person. I'm like, just be yourself. Again, another phrase I can't stand, but just be normal. Like just be natural, right? Because people can read that energy, they can read that vibe. And if you've got a salesperson hat on, they're going to be like, what's going on here? Like this person is being off or something, right? You just want to have a normal conversation with people. When you get on a sales call, just treat it like this is someone you're talking to normally, except you're going through these questions about their situation and you're talking about your product or service. Like that's sales. Just have a normal conversation with them. So yes, you want to run this call model, this call script, whatever you want to call it, but you need to think about the person first. If you cannot even adjust the way you have a conversation with someone based on who they are, then you have serious social skills issues. Straight up, okay? Like this is elementary school stuff I'm talking about here. Kids on the playground know how to do this. So just don't be a robot. Don't be fake. Don't put on a salesperson hat. I'm a salesperson now. Just be a normal person. Just talk to them like you talk to anybody else. Why? But you're going through a sales process. That's the only difference. Now, or know when you do need to ask certain questions and when you don't need to ask certain questions, okay? And also, the more calls you take, you will get better at this. So it's not like I'm expecting you to freestyle and be an absolute pro in your first 10, 20, 30 calls, whatever. It's normal to mess up when you're a beginner. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? So if you're a beginner, yeah, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. I made a ton of fucking mistakes and did everything I just talked about. I did all of those things. But once you get through that beginner phase, you need to leave this stuff behind, and I see a lot of sales reps that don't do that. So I'm not talking about beginners, I'm talking about reps who should know this already. But remember this, if you get on a call with someone who is ready to buy, and you do stuff like I just talked about, they're just going to think you're a dumbass and you very likely will lose a sale and a valuable client for that business. So it's important. And once you've done this on calls, you've taken calls and run this high ticket sales call model, this will make way more sense than it does when I'm just ranting in your face. But it's important to note because I see a lot of people do this. I see this all the time and I'm just thinking are you a real person or are you a robot? Are you from Skynet? I don't know, man. People are just wild these days. So I never thought I would have to tell people to just be a normal person, but here we are. So this has been an overview of how to run a high ticket sales call. So if you need to go back through the beginning of the video, do it as many times as you need to. I will do a more detailed Google Doc breakdown with a visual in the near future because I know that can be more helpful to have that visual, and I'll probably do that next week. But that is a general overview of how to run a high ticket sales call. So if you're a beginner, this is what you should do. And if you're coming from another industry, this is how you should run a high ticket sales call in the online business space. If you want my help getting a closer role or a setter role, schedule a call with me with the link in the description so that we can meet each other. Until next time.